You need to challenge yourself. Taking things easy from the beginning. You know, I used to say, like, if there's a 10,000 Rand prize money, you don't win that in the first 5 kilometers. The one who will be able to endure until the end of the race will be the one who win that money.
This is Running for Real, the podcast for runners who know that for every runner's high, there are just as many lows. All those just missed PRs, easy runs that feel hard, injury blues, and more. Each week, we'll talk to running, health, and wellness experts about their highs, lows, and best advice to build our confidence. Running for Real is about being honest, being brave, and most of all, not feeling alone. And now here's our host, Tina Muir.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 146 of the Running for Real podcast. Thank you for being here today. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I'm happy to have you. I hope you want to stick around and go back through the 145 other episodes you have missed. What are you thinking about the Beyond Running bonus episodes on Mondays, those of you who have been listening all along? If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go subscribe now. You are missing out. These episodes are called Beyond Running because they're on specific topics that affect runners. All of my guests are runners, but they are for people to learn, and they're not necessarily about running things. We do bring running in, but they're not about running things in particular. I wanted to do these episodes to learn what to do if we recognize the words in the episodes as something we are working through, maybe to define what we're going through, to know what to do, how to treat it, and to learn what to do if we are friends with someone or a family member is going through something like that and it's a real struggle and you don't know what to say, you don't know how to treat them. So these episodes are really to teach us how to learn, how to be a better, more understanding person for all these people who are going through different things that maybe we don't get it at all. So far, we've covered anxiety disorders, running as a blind athlete, suicide, and on Monday, it was running with disabilities, which I recorded that episode live while I was in New York a few weeks ago. And if you've not already listened to that episode, I strongly suggest going back, actually, all those episodes if you haven't. It's been really eye-opening for me listening to these topics, and it's changed the way that I'm looking at the world, looking at people in general. These episodes are also shorter than usual, so you can squeeze them into your life in other places if need be. Last Friday, we had Nicole de Boom, the founder of Skirt Sports, on the show to talk about her journey from one of the best triathletes in the world to entrepreneur, and the struggles she's been through, particularly while trying to do these things as a mother. Nicole's very real, very honest, and it was a great conversation. I hope you enjoyed that one and help Nicole celebrate her 15th year at Skirt Sports. Now today, I'm excited to share the story of Thabang Madiba. He is a South African runner who's just doing amazing things in the trail, ultra, and mountain running scene right now. He's a wonderful, kind, generous person with the kind of passion for the sport we all need. He has a lot working against him and is fighting to bring his family out of the poverty he grew up in, and he's using his running to do so. This is an inspiring episode, and I really hope you enjoy. Although obviously with his accent, it can be difficult to understand at times, so I would make sure that you are able to listen to this and concentrate. This is probably not one of those episodes you're going to be able to multitask and do 8 things at the same time. I know I'm guilty of that too. Before we go meet him, I just want to thank Body Health, MetPro, and Janji for sponsoring this episode. Let's go say hi. This episode of the Running for Real podcast is sponsored by Body Health, who you know by now because I talk about them every week. And there's a reason for that. It works, and I know it can help you. You know I pride myself on sharing things with you that I truly believe are going to help you. And if Body Health Perfect Amino could get me through almost 100 miles a week with long runs of 25 miles to recover, it can help you. I noticed a massive difference when I was in that tough part of training. You know the bit where you are now, where all the doubt is there. You wonder how the heck you're even going to finish this, let alone run the time you want to. Body Health Perfect Amino has the 8 essential amino acids your body needs to be able to pick up that slack if you're not able to eat right away, or if you haven't managed to get enough protein in, which most of us haven't. I am particularly bad at that. I take 5 tablets a day immediately post-run, although I will say I took 10 in my heaviest training and just got on with my day. They have a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you don't feel the difference after a few months, you can get your money back. Body Health also sells lots of other holistic products to help your body feel good. I know many of you enjoy these regularly, and it just makes me happy knowing that you are enjoying their products. you can get 10% off the entire Body Health website using code TinaMuir10 by visiting tinamuir.com/AMINOS. That's tinamuir.com/AMINOS. That's aminos. Remember, if they have any other sales going on, you can actually add those to your Tina Muir 10 code. So that's just a little bit of inside information there. I love seeing how many of you use it. And if you are exhausted in marathon training, now is the time. Go get yourself some. Thabang, I am so excited to welcome you to the Running for Real podcast. Thank you so much for being here today and welcome to the show.
Hey. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Tina.
Yeah, this is going to be great. I am really excited. And I just watched a video on you that one of your sponsors made for you. And it is wonderful and just made me just so excited to talk to you. I will put a link in the show notes for my listeners to go watch. But for those who don't know, can you tell us a bit about where you're from and who you are?
I'm from a township of Garangua in Gauteng in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Gauteng province. I'm just a runner.
Just a runner. You're not just a runner. You're more than just a runner. I know that.
Yeah. The thing is, when you're chasing something big, you don't even realize what you achieve because your vision is far ahead of you. Mm-hmm. So things that you achieve, like they don't like make you have like being big-headed, something like that.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this related to that. Would you say maybe when you started running, when you started realizing you have a talent, which we're going to talk about soon, you thought it was just about what you could achieve, and now you've realized running is about more than just, getting medals, getting wins?
It's more than just that, honestly. Yeah, because
what would you say?
With trail running, because it's very special, you get to places that are more remote, where a lot of people don't go there. And I got the opportunity to travel the world, meet different people, and trail runners, we are very special also. Mm-hmm. Because it's more like a small community. We know each other. Whenever we at races, it's like a small get together. Whenever there's a local race at home. Yes. So, yeah, it started more of seeing myself running on the street. That was all I wanted. Then, it's more like having dreams. Once you achieve this dream, there's another dream. Once you achieve this one, and you just keep going and going.
So what would be your advice on that note for someone who is working towards a big dream, but maybe has had some setbacks recently and is thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if it's in me.
The most important thing is to start. Once you start, you'll endure and you'll just go. But the most important thing is to start.
Mm-hmm. And for those who, have been working at this for a while, they are running, they've been runners for years, but they're just feeling a bit sad about it, that maybe they feel like things keep going wrong and it's just hard. Do you have any words of enlightenment for them?
Yeah, running, it's like I said, that is very special. It's not all about who you want to beat. First of all, you need to challenge yourself. Mm-hmm. And taking things easy from the beginning. I used to say, like, if there's a 10,000 Rand prize money, you don't win that in the first 5 kilometers. Mm-hmm. The one who will be able to endure until the end of the race will be the one who win that money. But you can lead the race from the beginning, but that doesn't mean you're going to end in position 1. So it's similar to running. You need to build up gradually, mm-hmm. up until you endure up. And at the end of the day, you end up smashing big distance, not realizing that.
Yeah, that is great. Thank you so much. Now, your name means to be happy, or be happy, yes, which I absolutely love. Who gave you that name?
I got it from my father's side, because I'm the first child on his side. So they were very excited that, wow, you got a baby boy. we never thought he'll have a partner, have a baby someday. Yeah, so I'm a special child.
Yeah, and you are living up to that name. You do seem so happy in everything I've seen of you. You just, even so far now, you just seem like you're just beaming and bringing light into the world. So let's talk a bit more about your running journey. Now, it seemed that you kind of had this desire to run very early on as a young boy. So what did that look like as a child with, was running something you saw as a future career? Was it something you just enjoyed? What did running look like when you were younger?
To be honest, it was more like enjoying, because I remember I was very little. There was a time where there was a fun run, and I had that desire of being there, running with people, but then I knew that my parents wouldn't allow me to do that, and they couldn't see what I felt then. Then it happened that during my school days, there were like school athletics. Mm-hmm. Then that's where my running started. I grew up being very active. I used to play soccer, but unfortunately, my grandmom refused to buy soccer boots for me because I was full of life. She was like, no, I don't want problems. The next thing, you'll break your legs and I'll have to run around, take you to hospitals. Then it happened that she bought me like cheap sneakers. It was like a top. The top was leather and the bottom was like not that cushioned. It was very hard. Mm-hmm. And that was like heaven to me. That's when my running started. And like every day after school, I would rush home, change, then hit the road. That was, and also being in races, it was like a biggest dream for me.
And so the running aspect, you said you'd get home, you would go straight out for a run. Was that kind of the thing you'd been looking forward to all day? That was your kind of enjoyment? Or like you felt like you needed to do it for other reasons, to get stressed out?
It was just enjoyment, because by then I didn't even know that you have to, like, on weekends, there are races that I can enter and go and run.
Okay. And then you mentioned your parents would not allow you to run early a few minutes ago. What did you mean by that?
Oh, no, I meant that my grandmom, she refused to buy me soccer boots.
Oh, soccer. Yes, okay. I see.
Soccer boots, because I used to play soccer, but
it was dangerous.
Yeah, because she said, no, I don't want problems. Then she accidentally bought me sneakers. Then that's where everything started. Yes.
Okay, so they probably were happy that you did go towards running, because it does seem a bit of a safer sport with not so much risk of injury with contact sports.
Yes, but at first she was not happy because, when you go to races, you have to wake up very early in the morning. Then I would go and catch a taxi. Then she would be worried and she would feel great when I'm back. She would say, finally, you're back.
Yeah.
But then after she realized that I really love running, and if you look back with guys that you used to hang around with, then you realize that running indeed helped me to kind of have focus.
Yeah. And what time would the races start? You mentioned an early start. Do they start a lot earlier than other places around the world, as you have experienced?
They start around about 6 a.m. during summertime. Yeah, then as a runner, you need to be at the race like an hour before, so that you enter, you put your stuff for the talk bag, and you also do some warm up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
And I want to go on to talk a bit more about some of the things with regards to running, where you are. But as your story kind of progressed, you got more and more into running, began to run. Some people said everywhere you went, but just running more and more often. You said yourself that you would run to kind of deal with some of your emotions. If you were angry, if you were sad, running helped. Why do you think running is so powerful for kind of dealing with stress?
Once you go out of your house, there are so many things that come across your mind and your eyes also. And by then you breathing hard, you struggling, and it refreshes your mind. So nicest thing is that when you come back, there's so many things that you saw along the route, and you can build a story. Some will be, you have questions about what you saw. Then that really helps. It's a therapy. Unlike being in the house, stuck in the house, all you see is walls and pictures that you see every day.
thank you to Janji for sponsoring this episode of the Running for Real podcast. Have you noticed how colourful, unique and beautiful my running clothes are lately? I have, because every time I put them on, I smile. I love the reason behind this company. I love that they're trying to make the world a better place. They're trying to look after this world and think about the future. And this episode with Thabang seems like a really appropriate time to hear this too. Hearing a real story about how different life can be in a place where poverty is all around you. I love knowing that every time I run in something from Janji, I am showing off the work of a designer in a developing country. I love that 5% of their profits go to the country that the inspiration for the season came from. It goes to clean water initiatives. And it's something, if you think about clean water, that's pretty important to staying alive. So it's something that's just life-saving, life-changing, really. And I love that I can smile knowing that these clothes don't just look good, but they also need washing less, which helps our planet out too. Seeing you wearing them, when you tag me in photos of you wearing them, it just makes me feel so excited and so proud of us for helping out with a company who are genuinely trying to do the right thing. And they're also fighting against some pretty big dogs in the industry who are going to fight pretty hard to keep them out. You heard that in the episode with Dave Spandorfer, the co-founder, a few weeks ago. And if you missed that episode and want to hear more about their story, go back to listen to that. You can also get 10% off your order at runjanji.com using code TinaMuir. That's RUNJANJI.com and use code TinaMuir for 10% off. I also have my favorite items listed on my website at tinamuir.com/Janji. That's TINAMUIR.com/JANJI.
Once you go out of your house, there are so many things that come across your mind and your eyes also. And by then you breathing hard, you struggling, and it refreshes your mind. So nicest thing is that when you come back, there's so many things that you saw along the route, and you can build a story. Some will be, you have questions about what you saw. Then that really helps. It's a therapy. Unlike being in the house, stuck in the house, all you see is walls and pictures that you see every day.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, with that, for someone who is kind of going through a stressful time right now, but is having a hard time motivating themselves to go running because they're kind of feeling a bit sad for themselves, or maybe feeling, you know, what's the point? What would you like to say to those people to get out there and do it?
Yeah, even if you don't run, but just go out, mm-hmm. Get some fresh air, even if it's walk and run or just to walk in the park. It helps a lot. Yeah. Remember, even an aeroplane, before it went there above, the propellers need to go fast, then it's going to move, then it's going to go up. So you see, you need to start somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, great advice. Thank you. So you realized pretty early on that you needed to look after yourself, that you needed to kind of do things that were going to bring you joy, but also help you potentially in your future. And now it has, with you having achieved some of the things you have. But for, you know, we don't hear that so often with someone who is from a place such as South Africa. You know, what we hear here in the US or in Great Britain, where I'm from, is that you kind of don't get that luxury to be thinking about yourself because you have to be thinking about the family all the time. How did you manage to find the balance? Because you do still put your family first. You do still do things together. But how did you balance that out?
Well, Tina, because I would say running itself, it helped me. It channeled me. Because first of all, you need to be disciplined. If you have to do things on time, it must be done on time so that everything can get together. Mm-hmm. And that helped me to know that at this time I have to be at work. When I get paid, I have to buy stuff for my family. I have to keep some money for myself. Like 5 o'clock in the morning, I have to go for a run. When I come back, I have to either take my son to school, you know. So it helped me to have discipline and also channel me. Mm-hmm. And again, through that, you tend to learn who you are and you understand yourself much better because you spend most of your time alone. Let's say you go for a run, even if it's in the race, at some moment you are alone. So that really helped me to know some of my strong points and my weak points.
And what things would you put into place so that you did make sure you had time to run and could find, because surely the same for you as for us, things will come up. How do you make sure you get it in when you do have lots of other things to worry about?
Yeah, it's all about trying to manage my time and try to put important stuff first. Some of the stuff that I know, if they just pop up now, then I know it's not important. I'm not going to entertain it. I'll just focus more on stuff that are very important, because I know the results at the end, they're going to improve my life.
Mm-hmm. And have you rubbed this off onto other people you know, other people from your community, that they see you looking after yourself and see how much happier you are, see how much of a better father you are, see you as a better person, and has it inspired them to start moving and doing things for themselves?
Yeah, I've changed most of the guys. I remember when I used to work for Nissan is an auto industry, so it was about 12 km from home to here to the factory. So I was running to work every day and running back home, and they thought I was crazy, but they couldn't see what I was seeing, because I knew that I had to push certain distance a day so that I can be able to run like a marathon. Then the very same year it happened that I win the national champ and I qualified for world. That was in US, in Colorado. And after they saw that, then they realized that they could see that this guy is chasing something that we don't see. And as soon as they get closer to me and we start to chat, and that's when they realized that, no, this guy is big. And since I've left the company, it's over like 100 people that decided to start running.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
How does that make you feel, knowing that you...
I feel so great. I feel so great.
Yeah. And have any of them taken different, like maybe they haven't taken up running, but they've taken up other things that or found something else that they like enjoyed but were too afraid to do?
Unfortunately, the ones that I know, they've decided to just focus more into running.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that is truly you as the inspiration then. So then, deciding to do something for yourself, deciding to train for a marathon, managing your time so that you can do these things. Why does that make you a better person if you are putting in the time to do things for yourself when, it's very easy in this world to feel like we have to do everything for everyone else, but not ourselves? Why do you think it is better to find that time?
First of all, you must learn to love yourself. Then once you understand that, then you'll make sure that even if you have family, remember, I can't say my son come first. So if he come first, then I die. Who's going to look after him?
That's true.
I come first so that I can be able to look after him. So that really helped me. As long as you can understand that you as a human being, you come, like I have to be happy first myself before I can make other people happy, because I'll be unfair to myself if I try to please people, but once I'm back in the house, I'm alone, I'm stressed up, but I must learn to make myself happy before I can make other people happy.
Mm-hmm. That is great. Thank you so much. That's so important. And another thing you realized was how you were determined pretty early on that you wanted to get yourself out of poverty. Now, does everyone think that way in your community, or was that kind of a rare thing? Do people just kind of get on with things and not really give it too much thought?
There are so many guys that are really, really working very hard. But, mostly in South Africa, to kick poverty, it's mainly in studies. You have to go to school, study further, then earn big money. But with me, because the highest qualification I have is matric. And I don't know how. I always believe that running, no matter how, no matter what, is going to change my life. And I've started running since 99. And there was a point where I felt like, no, I think I'm going to give up, because whenever I get paid from Nissan, I have to invest in running, and the results are, I don't get results, then unfortunately it happened that I win first South African champs. And that really motivated me. Then if you look back, that happened after a decade.
Yeah.
And at some point I felt like, oh, okay, cool. I think running, I thought was going to work for me, was going to take me to high places. Rather, maybe let me not give it so much attention and either study so that I can improve myself.
Yeah. And you have certainly done that. And I've loved reading and learning about it. Let's talk about some of those achievements before we go any further. Becoming the 2013-2014 South Africa trail champ, how did that feel, having, worked your way up, having put in this time, put in this work, and keeping another job at Nissan at the same time? How did that feel when you accomplished that?
It was so great, eh? It was so great. I never thought it would happen, because I remember winning first SA champs, like, it was more like a nightmare. I didn't see it. I didn't see it happening, because I think I won by 2 seconds.
Wow.
So you can imagine, because first 3 guys were separated by 4 seconds.
Wow.
So I never saw it coming, and like I was running against the best in the country.
So wouldn't that have made it, the fact that it was that close and that you popped out of nowhere, did you celebrate for quite a while knowing that you had broken through in that way?
Well, I was excited. Then, that was it. Then I knew that I have to work very hard to conquer some other races or get back to it.
Okay, well, fair enough. Well, you did continue to do that and becoming the 2015 Sky Running African champ. So what does that mean, Sky Running? We hear that term, but most of my listeners aren't trail runners primarily. So what does Sky Running mean?
Okay, Sky Run, it's any race in the mountain that goes over 2,000 meters above sea level.
Okay.
Yes, and with more than 2,000 meters vertical climb.
Okay, so very tough running there.
Very tough, yes.
And is that what you enjoy the most, the really challenging ones like that?
I guess I'm more of a mountain runner. I prefer where it's technical, where you get hardcore versus talent. So the hardcores will obviously conquer, but the talented, they need to, you get those guys that are very fast on a flat surface. Once you get on a mountainous terrain where it's like technical and steep downs, they tend to battle. So obviously the hardcores will do well.
Yeah. And I just want to take this moment to mention, for the listeners, I mentioned the video of Thabang at the beginning of the episode, but go watch this video that I'm talking about. There is a link in the show notes. But in this video, you are running up what appears to be some kind of mountain or very steep terrain. Pulling a tire behind you. And I kept thinking, is this the same clip they're just playing over and over again? But no, definitely not. You were running with this tire like for quite a long time in many different locations. So tell us about that. What was the thinking behind that?
Because, the area that I live at, we don't have like Alps or big mountains. So, and driving to Drakensberg is like 5 hours.
Okay.
So then I realized that I really need to get a plane. So I got there's this bike, Nissan bike that we used to have in South Africa. It's called 1400. So I used the tire to give more resistance. So that really helped me, because it's just a small tire, it's not a big tire. And pulling it on I was just imagining you running along with a tractor tire. Because it's about 1 kilometer in like climb. So I just pulled that.
Do you still use that? How often do you do that?
I use it maybe once a month.
Okay. So it's not a common thing, but so with your training, I'm assuming it gets quite warm, so you have the heat to deal with. But what are some other ways that you prepare for races when maybe other people have these, they might have physical therapists or people that they work with. They might have a strength training coach. They do. How do you kind of come around some of these things in addition to pulling the tire?
Yeah. Fortunately, I have a coach called Nico Sterk, and I've been working with him since 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been guiding me, and sometimes he would put me on a mountain bike to ride like for 100 Ks. Yeah, because I don't have big mountains, so I will cycle to work and cycle back home, which it will give me like 110 K for the day.
Mm-hmm. And I've heard that you like to cycle to races as well. Tell us about that part.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't have a car, and like most of trail races, like I chose that the places, the venue are a little bit far from home. So I would cycle like 55 Ks. Then I remember the other time I was cycling, then 20 Ks to the race, I got a puncture. So I had to stop, pump my wheel. When you use a small puncture, if you don't have the CO2 bomb, then I had to pump, then cycle again. Then when I got to the race, it had already started. Then I was like, there's no use of not running because I came here to run. Then I've decided to run. I decided to chase First Lady. Then I was like, if I pass First Lady, then I know I ran good, even if the guys are like way far ahead of me. And that also really helped me so much because, I even always say that every race that you do, it's a preparation for something that you don't know, because you learn new things in each and every race. So going to the race with my bicycle, it added a bit of strength for me to be able to win the SHMs because I was more of a hardcore.
So that wasn't the SA champs that you were biking to, was it? Or it was?
No, it was local races. Yes.
Okay. That you just mean when you did get to that point, you had like extra motivation.
Yeah.
And tell us about the outcome of the race that you did bike to.
The other one, I think I came second.
Pretty impressive if you weren't there at the start of the race.
Yes. And the other one I won. I think I won 2. I came second in 1. And the other one, when I got there, the race was already gone. But then I've decided to chase the First Lady because I know First Lady is not stronger than the first guys, the front guys. Yeah. So after passing the First Lady, then I was like, yes. Then I ran a good time, and like the race had more or less 10 minutes gone when I got them.
I would love to have seen you show up probably all stressed out because you were running late, and then just jump in there and finish second, or well, we think finish second, but still amazing to do. And that's another way, like you said, gives you motivation, also gives you some cross training because you're doing some extra exercises. Now you've talked about
also you like I said before, that you learn to know yourself. You can learn your limits. So by doing that, when you run and chasing something that you don't see, like you push over your limits, then that's when you can see your abilities. Yeah,
I love that. So true. And this kind of works nicely into what I was going to ask you, which is, you've talked about working hard, how important it is to work hard, how important it is to believe in yourself, to chase these dreams. What else goes into it other than just working hard? Because, everyone has different talent levels. So how can we go beyond just working hard and dedicating yourself?
You can be a hard worker, but if you don't have support, sometimes it's a problem. Support by just being there, talking to you, like asking questions. How are you doing? Do you love this? What are you doing? Things like that, they also motivate you. I remember I used to have a colleague at work. So he used to tease me. He would say, bro, you are lazy. Then I was like, bro, I'm not lazy. Then I was like, okay, cool. Let's make a deal. Because you're saying you're going to run this weekend. If you win, we bet. Then, things like that, I would go knowing that if I win, he's going to give me $100. So I'm sorted. So if you have more support, then your hard work becomes very easy and you end up enjoying what you're doing. even all the hard times and all tears and stuff that you're going through, you don't see them because there's a strong support structure.
Mm-hmm. Great. I love that. And that is so important. Very true that as the old phrase goes, it takes a village. And that is absolutely true with people supporting you and just encouraging you. So, and thank you for being that person to all those people you mentioned who have started running because of you. And you've talked about, you know, if you're good at something, grab it with both hands, really give it your best. Just do what you can to make it successful. Now, for someone listening who feels stuck, be it running or not running, what should they do? What would you like to say to encourage them to maybe chase something that they do have a talent for, but maybe haven't tried before?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I started as a race walker.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to do, you know, where it's like you shaking yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing that. I did steeplechase. Like, I've tried many, many things. Up until Thursday, I won a trail race. Then I realized that this is where I belong.
Yeah.
And I need to invest in this. So it doesn't mean if you're not good at something, that means you're not good at all stuff that's around. You need to find something that it's more like, you know, when a train goes in another rail, it goes smoothly. Yeah, it should feel like that you just get into it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so yes. So it's more of trying things around up until you get something that you really enjoy. And even if you put so much, you know how painful running it is. But if you have passion and you love it, and because again, running it helps you to improve yourself as a person.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because if you run this time and you want to beat it, you have to work hard. You have to do different types of training so that you can beat that 30 seconds.
So true. Thank you so much for explaining that. That's great. And what about, let's talk just a little bit more about you and your life, in that how has your life in general changed since you've accomplished some of these big things and since your running has, you know, improved drastically?
Well, to me, I'm a very simple guy. I just love people and I'm not big-headed. And fortunately, I didn't allow things that I've achieved. Honestly, to me, they're very small. It feels like it's nothing because what I want to achieve, it's bigger than me.
What do you want to achieve?
My dream and wish, if I can see myself finishing top 3, podium finish in one of European high-profile races, I'll be very excited.
So give us some examples of some of the races that could be.
It's, you know, the Mont Blanc Marathon, like the Zinal, Fast and Furious, you know, races like that, like Zigama. One of those races, if I see myself finishing in the top 3, because that race, it feels like, you know, I don't know if you heard about Comrades Marathon in South Africa.
Oh, yes.
And the Two Oceans Marathon in South Africa. You know, if you're a local and make a top 10 of that race, like it's big. It's a big achievement.
So that's another goal of yours?
Not now. Maybe in the future I would do, because I still love being in the mountains, being outdoors. Yeah, because you see so many stuff in a short period of time.
Yeah. Well, wait, you're saying short period of time is in 100 miles? No.
I mean, like being in the mountains.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Just you get more what they would say over here, like bang for your buck. With you see more in less time. I see what you're saying there.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we look forward to the day when you finish top 10 in Comrades and when you finish top 3 in one of those big races. So I mentioned about life changing. You said a very simple man. You know, walk us through a typical day in the life of Thabang, from when you wake up to when you go to bed. What does it look like now?
Fortunately, I don't jump to bed before I fall asleep. So if I feel like I'm falling asleep, that's when I go to bed.
Good plan.
It may be at 12, it may be at 9 in the evening, but as soon as I feel like I'm tired, I go to bed. But then I would wake up at like around about 4 a.m.
Is that because of the heat?
No. With heat, I don't mind. Like I said, I'm a very simple guy.
Okay.
If it's too warm, I just wear my shorts. Then I just
okay.
That's yeah.
Okay, so you run at 4 a.m. What do you do after you run?
No, I would go to the grounds because it's still in the dark. So there's a university that I train in. Then come back and prepare for work. I start working at 9.
Okay.
Then I'll drive around about 55 km to work. Then I knock off at 6, but it's already in the evening. Then I come back home. So days that I'm off, I would wake up around about maybe 6. If I know that I'm off that day, then I would maybe either smash like a long ride, 70 km on my mountain bike,
wow.
or maybe do a brick session, ride for 3 hours, then run for 1 hour. Then I know it's done for the day.
This is after you finished working?
No. Normally when I'm off.
Oh, on your off days. Okay, so you make those days the days that you are really getting the hard training in.
Yes, when I'm off, that's where I push harder.
Okay.
So because now I'm working in a running shop. So when I used to work for Nissan, I would run to work and run back home, cycle to work, cycle back home. Yes.
And how does it feel now working in a running shop? Is that just kind of a dream job, being able to be around the sport all day?
It's not a dream job, but I think that's where I belong because I love people. I love talking to people. You meet different people, different characters. Yeah, so
that is great.
It's quite a nice place because I think if my journey was just my journey, my life journey is to go through a running store so that I can learn things before I reach something in life. Mm-hmm. I think it's awesome.
That makes sense. Okay, well, great. Yeah. Thank you. So many of my listeners will likely never end up going to visit South Africa. It is absolutely 100% on my list of places to go. So I will be visiting someday. But for those who maybe, see themselves as not really traveling over there, what would you like people to know about South Africa, just from the insider's viewpoint?
Yeah, first of all, the people of South Africa are very friendly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're very friendly. Then secondly, we have a very beautiful country. I don't want to lie. And like trail running take me to places that I never thought I would ever see because you go to remote areas that are so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So good. And would you want more people to come visit South Africa just to kind of see that? Or do you like it being that it is a place that, it's generally world travelers and people that really like to travel that come there? Would you want to see more people coming to your area or not?
I would love.
Especially runners?
I would love. Yes.
Okay.
No, it was so nice because where I live, it's a black community. So my team manager from Solomon, before he became a manager, we very good friends. Whenever I'm in Cape Town, I would sleep in his house. Then whenever he's at home, people would be like, wow, Thabang, you hang around with white guys. So you sleep in my house. Then he's a brother, he's cool. So that would be awesome.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how many people we can get listening to this show to come to South Africa and come see the beauty for themselves, go trail running for themselves. All right. So I just have the final 4 questions for you, starting with one piece of advice you'd like to give the listeners for life.
You know what? I always say, do what you love with all your heart, and the rest will just follow you.
That's so good. Thank you. All right. One person to follow on social media and why?
Okay. They can follow me to be inspired and also see some part of the Rainbow Nation, how beautiful it is. Because sometimes I take pictures and post it on my Instagram and Facebook account. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
And I also, I always say on my post, if I can, you can. So everything is possible.
So true. Thank you so much. And I look forward to following you there as well. All right. How do you want to be remembered on this show? Other than an inspiration.
Yeah. Okay, Thabang. as a happy guy.
A happy guy. Okay. That's it.
I'm happy.
Great. Love that. All right. And finally, a running for real moment, something that only runners will understand.
Runners, we are the friendliest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're very happy. We're not grumpy.
Unless we don't get to run, right?
Yes. No, even if when we run, it's going to be painful to all of us. But at the end of the day, we're all happy. We give each other hugs and we just smile. So
true. Great. Thank you so much. All right, Thabang, where can people find you on social media? Where can they find you? Can you maybe spell out your name or your social media handles on the different channels?
Yeah, on Facebook is Thabang Madiba. Mm-hmm. And on Instagram is Tabs Madibs.
Tabs Madibs. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I will put links in the show notes for everyone to go click on those and go find them. And I can email you the show notes to the listeners. So be sure to email me, tina@tinamuir.com, if you want me to email the show notes to you from now on. And you can also then get Thabang's social media information. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, for just enlightening us and just being a true inspiration and just saying such great words. So thank you so much for being here today.
Not a problem at all, Tina. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much to MetPro for sponsoring this episode of the Running for Real podcast. I am a big fan of MetPro. Have been talking about them for weeks. We've had these wonderful conversations, little mini conversations like I've never done before, with Angelo Poli, the founder of MetPro, who has generously given us his time to answer our questions. And I want to thank him for that. And today we have a final question in this little mini series, which is definitely related to runners. So Angelo, for those runners who want to know, should I carb load? And if so, how soon before the event? This answer goes back and forth in the running world. So looking forward to hearing your answer here.
Okay. No, that's a great question. Carb loading is something that both endurance athletes and physique athletes participate in. So I do have a little bit of experience with it. Here's what I'll say. There's kind of industry standards on this. Should you carb load for athletic performance? The industry will basically say, having a little bit more reserves, glucose, glycogen in your system with the extra water that's buffered along with it. It won't make you faster, but it will give you a little more fuel, which is never a bad thing. Now, how much and how to go about carb loading, that's where there seems to be some confusion. So the industry standard is they're going to tell you have 3 to 5, which is a little high, but 3 to 5 grams of carbs per pound of body weight to carb load. And that's not a bad answer, but I would say just be reasonable and approach this topic just with basic common sense. Ask yourself, what are you currently used to when determining if an industry standard recommendation is right for you? So if you're used to eating 2 or 3 grams of carbohydrates per pound of body weight every day, then increasing that a little is probably reasonable. If you're used to eating 80 grams of carbs a day, then if you try jumping up to 650, 700 grams the day before a race, and you've never done that before, your tummy's probably going to not be so happy with that.
Can I just pause you for that a second?
Yeah.
One of my marathons, this was during the time I was experimenting with eating lower carbs. And I did that the day before the race. I pounded the carbs and I couldn't go to the bathroom that morning. And I was absolutely freaking out. I was so panicked that I was just going to have a disaster in the race. I didn't end up going until later the afternoon, but it brought so much stress to me thinking about that.
You are not alone. That's exactly what happens. I'm a big believer in not trying something new before competition, a race, or whatever. You want to have something that you know how your body's going to respond. So if we look at there's also a little bit of debate about carb depletion. So the way an actual professional grade carb loading cycle works is a person participates in a carb depletion cycle before the carb loading, because that sensitizes your body to carbs and you can hold a little bit more in your system. And then they've basically come out with studies that show, well, you don't really have to do that. So when I take somebody through it, if they're not used to eating a lot of carbs in the first place, I just skip the depletion cycle completely. And if they are used to eating a lot of carbohydrates, then typically what I'll do is I'll back it off just maybe 20%. And the reason I do like that is because then come day before the race, I put the 20% back and then increase by another 20 or 30%. Nothing's radical. And I know they're gonna store those carbs and I'm gonna have a good result. And you're gonna want to look at the timing of your race, etc. But if somebody has a race on Saturday, generally speaking, I'll start having them increase carbohydrates second half of the day, Thursday. So, you'll hear 1 day, you'll hear 3 days. I like about a day and a half, but really the best advice I can give you is experiment prior to your race and you'll find the sweet spot where you feel and perform your best.
Great. Thank you so much for that answer. That's really helpful. All right. Go to metpro.co/Tina to find out more information. You can get a free 30-minute consultation. So what are you waiting for? In case it isn't obvious already, the people at MetPro are absolutely wonderful. Angelo being the kind of key leader here. Thank you so much to Angelo for giving your time with these questions. And guys, that's again, metpro.co/Tina. Go check it out. My friends, if you have a minute and you could leave a review on your favorite podcast player, Apple Podcasts, aka iTunes, Stitcher, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Spotify, or whatever else podcast player you use to listen to this podcast, or if you would subscribe to this podcast, you will help me get out in front of new runners to make our tribe even bigger and even better. It might not seem like you as one person can make a difference, but really it helps a lot. And it shows me you appreciate the hard work I put in for those. Thank you so much. I just loved him. So upbeat, so thoughtful, and just changing the world all around him with the impact that he is making. I mean, getting people to start running for the first time, that's just so inspiring. And I just loved him. I really hope someday I can meet him because I just think he would be such a warm, kind person to be around. If you had any questions or you wanted to find any of the links to things we talked about in the episode today, including that video about him, which is just so heartwarming, you can find them in the show notes at tinamuir.com/episode 146. And next week, we are going to be hearing from Nelly Acevida, who is a entrepreneur, a blogger, a mother of 3, and she has a wonderful story and a wonderful way of telling you about how you can chase your passions. You can do some things that you've always kind of enjoyed but never really done anything with it. It's a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts about it. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Running for Real podcast. Be sure to check out tinamuir.com for show notes and even more helpful running information.